everyone. Welcome. My name is Blessing Ezinne, and in this video, I want to share a quick but very powerful tip on data modeling fundamentals in Power BI, which honestly is one of the most important steps in building effective dashboard and reports. So whether you're just starting out in Power BI or you're looking to sharpen your modeling skills, this is the right place for you. I've had the opportunity to do some facilitating data analytics training session. And one thing that I have noticed is that some people, or a lot of people, tend to skip modeling while working on Power BI. So once they get their data, they just jump straight into cleaning and analysis, which is great, but not always the most effective approach to take. So if you want to make your dashboard reporting and even your DAX formulas much more efficient, data modeling is a must. Instead of analyzing raw tables, flat files directly, it's usually advisable to build dimensional tables. Just think of it as laying the foundation before constructing the building. It makes your analysis cleaner, more structured, and easier to scale. So today I'm just going to use a sample data from Forage, one of the job simulations. It's from a manufacturing company, so they want to actually check where their biggest problem, they want to identify the biggest problem causing interruptions on the assembly line. So they have over 9 machines which sends messages every 10 minutes. That's the data is not what I want to go into. The analysis generally is not what I'm going into. I'm just going to do some modeling using this data. So when I saw it, it was just a flat file, and I saw some things that might need modeling, right? So that is why I just want to show this. Some people don't know about it, some people do, right? So just stay till the end. If you find it that's very helpful, don't forget to just give it a thumbs up, subscribe, try dropping questions or video suggestions in the comments. I'd like to hear what you want to see next, right? So let's just dive into it. The data came in a JSON file, right? So let me just open a blank report in Power BI. It came in a JSON file. I haven't used a JSON file before, so this is my first time. I tried very well to navigate through it. So I'm going to go to get data and then to JSON file. So I have it here. Now, most of us use Power Query a lot, so it's just going to load up in Power Query. Alright, opening these, I saw this list record stuff, and then I was like, I haven't seen this before. But here you can convert it into a table. And clicking on that, it's brought out this dialog box. So select or enter the limiter. I don't have any. How to handle extra columns, just show them as errors, and I clicked OK. And then it turns into a table, right? Still showing me records. But we know that if we have this kind of arrow in a column in Power BI, it means that more than one column is there, right? So I just clicked on that to open it up and see how many columns are actually there. And then it happens to be about 5, and then I opened it. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. There's something that you should know while doing this. Now, this use original column name as prefix, right? Sometimes people ignore it, but I don't ignore it. I don't want to use original column name as prefix. If I do that, I'm going to be seeing column dot device ID, column dot device type, which I don't want to see. I don't want to start renaming things or columns. So I don't want to have that. Now we have successfully loaded the data. Here I still see record and record, so I'm going to still open this up. Whatever other columns are inside it, I want to expand it, right? So there are two of them, temperature and status. Now this status column is, it's trying to tell you whether at that 10-minute time is the manufacturing process healthy or unhealthy, right? That is actually the status that they are looking at, and they want to use it to know which of their machines are doing well and in which location. The ones that are not, and also the location. So we can now see through the data, and this is location. I don't really want to open it up right now because there are up to 5 other columns inside it, like the country, the city area, I think your factory, and then section. I don't want to open it up right now. I will open it up later. Now for our modeling, we have some things that we might want to model. So what is this modeling about, right? Sometimes, like I said, like we have our flat file here, but then it is okay, it's even more advisable to break it into, they call it dimensional tables, right? Now this on its own is fact table, right? So you break it into dimensions. So like the device type is now, there are so many other distinct values in device type. So you might want device type to have its own column, and then it will now be linking to this main table using a key, right? Most of us that have done SQL, we know what primary keys or foreign keys are. So if it is linking to this fact table, the key or the column that is going to be here is going to be a secondary, or let's call it a foreign key to the main device type table, right? And then same thing I'm going to do to status and then to location, right? So let's keep going. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to duplicate this. So how many new tables do I want to create? I have device type, I have status and location. So I'm going to duplicate 3 of them, right? Now in this first one, I'm going to leave only location there. So if you go to the ribbon here, you're going to see choose columns, right? So I'm just going to uncheck all and check only location. That's the one I want to leave there. And then for the second one, it's still loading. Let me just, while I wait, let me rename this to location. And then this, okay, now let me leave that one like that. Okay, this one I'm also going to choose column. I'm going to leave only device type there. And then for this one, let's see, still loading. Now this is done loading. What I'm going to do now is to remove all duplicates that are there. Any duplicates So it's going to have only distinct device types. Okay, distinct device types. Now this one as well, I'm going to choose columns and I'm going to leave just status. Okay, so now this is done. We have 9 distinct device types of machines, right? Then what I want to do is to add now an index column. Go to add column and choose index column and number from 1. Okay, so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be a primary key for this particular column, table, sorry. And then I'm going to rename this to status what's that? Device type ID, right? And it's not going to be numerical. Both of them are categorical. This is showing general, while this is showing numerical. But both of them are supposed to be just text. So I'm going to change the type to text type. Now this one as well, I'm going to remove all duplicates. So don't forget, don't create your index column before you remove the duplicates. If you do that, you're going to give each of the rows an index, and you don't want that. So you have to remove that first before you add. You remove the duplicates first before you add the index column. So I'm going to give this a 0 and a 1. And then I'm going to rename the column that's going to create to status ID, and then both of them are going to be text data type as well. And then coming over to location, now I want to open up this location. I want to see exactly the locations that are inside it. Some people might decide to create different tables for each location here. Just so people might create country, city, area, but I don't want to do that, right? I just want to create location table and then give it an ID for location ID. So hold on, what did I do? Okay, so I have expanded that, and then all of them are showing general or any, right? So what I want to do now is to remove duplicates from each of them. Now what it's going to do automatically is to remove every duplicate row, right? Every duplicate row. So you can't find a whole row, whatever values that are in a whole row in another one. So if you have Japan, Tokyo, this, that in one row, you cannot find it again another row, right? You cannot see it again. So we have a distinct of 15 rows here. So each of these locations distinctly 15. So in Japan, in Tokyo, we have this area there, and we have this factory there, and the section here. So you can't see it again in another row. So now I can give it an index column, right? Now I can create an index column for the table. So it's going to be a location ID. All right, for each of the locations, this is the ID. So I'm going to rename that to location ID. Great. So I'm also going to change the data type for them to text and not general. Okay, let me rename this to, this is status and this is device type, right? All right, so after doing that, now I'm going to get to the main table and then open up that location now. So what I want to do now is to create a link between the main table, which is the facts table, and the dimensions tables, right? So when I do this, I'm going to remove the other columns that are not necessary from the facts table and then add an ID for it in the dimensions table, in the facts table. So that ID, which is a primary key in the dimensions table, is going to be a foreign key in this particular table here. So, okay. Since this has opened now, let me just give this all. Okay, excluding temperature. Exclude temperature. The rest of them are supposed to have exclude temperature and timestamp. The rest of them are supposed to be text data type. So each and every one of them I'm going to change to text alone. So while this is going to be in America, phone number, and then I want to give the timestamp decimal. If I do, I will do a date table later after this one, so you will know the reason why I did that. Now after doing this, I can now go to merge this table and the other tables. So here first I'm going to use merge queries, but first I'm going to use merge as new. Something that we should learn to do is to always have a backup, right? Always have a backup. So if I do this merge queries in the main table, I'm not going to have a backup. So I want to have a backup. So I'm merging the queries as new. So I'm going to do it in another table entirely. So it's going to create another table entirely where the merge is going to be done. So this is the main table, and then first I'm going to use location. So I'm going to merge the locations now together. I have from country here to section here, so it's giving it some numbering, which is also going to do to this one. So make sure that you don't do it in another way, like make sure that the country is selecting here first is also selected here first, so it doesn't mix up the whole thing. Now the kind of join I'm going to do is an inner join. I don't want to do a left or right join. Sometimes they give you null values if they don't find a matching value in both of them, so you get null value. So for this one I'm just going to use inner, so it's going to have to find exact only matching rows in the first table and also in the second table. So the section matches 160,000 approximately of 160,000 rows from the first table and 15 second. So I'm going to click OK to that. So you see down here the new merge has been created. Okay, so after this load, you're going to see a new table created within this particular new merge tables. Alright, so here it is. It's showing location. So that location here is the table that we merged. Before we do any other thing to that, we are going to finish up merging the rest. So I'm not going to merge as new again because it's going to create a new table which we don't want. So I'm going to merge inside this one now. So for device type, I'm going to merge this device type with this device type and inner join as well. So when that finishes, it's still going to show us exactly what it showed in the one earlier. Only that it's going to show 9 values in the second table. That's 9 of 9 in the second table because we have 9 distinct device types. Okay, so that particular legend is done. We're going to do the other one, which is for status. What next we're going to do now is to open up or expand these locations. So what we want to do now is to just choose the location ID, not all of the columns anymore. We don't need the rest of it. We only need the ID, which we now want to link to this table, with this table and the dimension table of location. So here we can see we only have location ID now. So it's just numbers linking for each of the locations in the location table. Now this one as well, I'm going to choose just device type ID. And for this one as well, the status, I'm going to choose status ID. So this is what we have. So for each of the IDs or the dimension tables, we have their ID here. So what I want to do now is to delete this particular column and also this device type column. So both of them are not going to be needed anymore because they have their own tables and the tables are linked here with an ID. Right, so I'm going to delete that. So the reason why I'm not deleting the locations is because I don't have a distinct location. I like each of them, the country table, the city table. I don't have that, right? So I don't want to remove that entirely because I might want to use it along the way. Right, so let me remove these columns. So both of them are gone. Alright, so now I might also remove these because it's not needed for the analysis. Right, so this is what I have here. Okay, I can now close and apply, but before that, let me enable this. I don't want it to load, and then I'm going to change this one to facts table. So I disabled this from loading because I already have a facts table here. This is just my backup, so I didn't want it to load alongside the rest of the tables, right? Okay, so when that's done, I'm going to click on close and apply. So it's going to open up in the Power BI desktop itself. I would like to do one more thing before I actually load this up. I would like to remove every duplicate in the data, right? So you do your cleaning, any other cleaning that you might want to do while you assess your data. But what I am here for is just for the modeling. Alright, so after that, create the relationship between the tables, although I think it must have done so, must have done that already, but I'm going to show us how the relationship is being created nonetheless. Close and apply. So it's just going to apply here. So after that loads, you can see the in the data pane here each of the tables, right? Now you go to modeling view. Now you can see the facts table, the status, the device type, and the location. Now this is the fact table and the dimension tables. I want to create a star schema with this, right? We are going to create a relationship between the location or the dimension tables and the fact table. So what you're going to do is inside the fact table, what is that foreign key linking the location to the fact table, right? And here we have our location ID. So the only thing you do is just to drag it to the location ID in the location table. Now this opens up. This is a fact table linking to the location table. I'm showing you the columns that have been linked. Now the cardinality, something called cardinality is showing you how the two columns are linked, right? It's saying many to one. That means many rows linking to one row. So many rows in the fact table link to one row in the dimensions table, right? Because of course, one particular location can send multiple information, right? So that is the kind of relationship that it is creating, and the cross filter direction is single. You save that, right? So when you do that, you'll see this line showing you the relationship has been created. When you hover over it, you see the columns that are being linked together. The same thing with status table, right? From here, the status ID links to status ID here. So from this status ID in the status table, I link it up to the status in that. So it is a one-to-many relationship. Now you see many to one, you see one to many, right? The reason you're seeing one to many here is because from the status table, we have only we have two distinct status, right? So one of those distinct status can link to many here. So you can see 0 is just appearing once here, but it can appear up to 10 or more in this place. And 1 also appearing once here can appear many times here. So that's the link of 1 to many. And the cross filter direction is also single. We save that and that appears. Then we do for the device type as well. From here to here, you see many to one. So the fact table, the one I dragged the ID from, to the device type where I dragged it to. Right, it's now a many from here. You can see one appear many times to just once here, right? Okay. Now we have succeeded in creating a star schema, and that is our relationship of the schema diagram, right? You can see how they are linked and related. So if you have more than one dimensions table, you can keep linking them up until you are done with that. Okay, I hope you've learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as well. So while doing this, it might take you a few extra minutes in the beginning, but it will save you hours down the line and make your dashboard so much better. Okay, so if there is any question that you have, please drop it in the comment section. Any video or anything you want me to show or do, drop it in the comment section and I'll be glad to do that. Okay, thank you very much for staying up to this time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.